Hi. All right, so that intro is the same every time. And you definitely want to open up your guided notes found right here. I've already opened mine up. I've actually already started them. But I'm going to show you how I do this thinking. And this is the kind of thinking you need to do. So this is the first of our lessons, the characteristics and structure of argumentative texts. And it starts, click in 3 times and you'll get your objective. And then you can cut and paste Command C to move that objective over, right? But when you do, you want to make sure you read it to yourself out loud. Otherwise, there's no point in cutting and pasting, right? This is studying for a test. In this lesson, you will, oh, look, I did that. You will analyze the characteristics and structural elements of an argument. All right, so I'm going to know how to identify that it's an argument. That's a good thing to know. All right. Everyone should know how to argue well. All right, you'll start with an introduction. It's a few pages. These will show you. I'm going to read these. When we communicate, we tend to exchange more than just facts. When we communicate, we tend to exchange more than just facts. Try filling your next conversation with nothing but statements like, I went to the store, your cat is eating, or E equals MC squared. Communicating only with facts is difficult. When people communicate, we also try to convey our beliefs about the world, and we get others to share those beliefs. In doing so, we're making an argument. Consider the statement shown here. What do they have in common? Doing less is an ideal we should embrace throughout the year. Okay, that's your opinion. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations. All right, again, an opinion. We have reached a stage in our lives where technology habits have led to substantial decline in verbal communication skills among our generation. Maybe. Give up. Each statement is an example of a claim. Yes, and claims are the ideas that argumentative texts or speeches try to convince you of. So a definition here, a claim, a point of view or a belief that an author or speaker expresses about a topic. And that's one of my terms I'm going to need. Oh, but they've already got it for me there. All right. And so I need to come back here. I'm going to learn to identify the claims. All right, solid. Now, the first thing I have to do is this. Now, if this, let's do it wrong. Let's just show you how to do it wrong. Let's say I'm going to put the conclusion here. I'm going to say that's the counter argument. I'm going to say that's the evidence. And I'm going to say that's the intro. That is completely wrong. What happens when I submit? It just says try again. So then I get to try again. And I get to go, okay, well, maybe that's not the conclusion. Maybe that's the introduction. And maybe that's the evidence. But maybe this is the conclusion. And this is the counter arguments. Still wrong? Okay. Now I don't have to try again. They're going to show me the correct answer. And they're going to explain it. Because, of course, this is just a learning tool, right? This is just a practice. How well do you get it? What do you know so far? If you don't know it, we have time to learn. Keep moving. We're on the section about claims. Every time I see these blues, I know it's a definition. I'm assuming I might need it over in my notes. And yes, I already put it there. So claims must begin with an opinion. Opinions are not statements of established fact. An opinion is a position that is some way open to interpretation. An author holds an opinion based on a belief that it explains facts or is a consequence of them. So while an opinion could end up being a fact, it will only be accepted if if powerful evidence supports it. Yeah, I mean, you can tell me the sky's blue, but unless you point to it and show me that it's blue, I don't believe you. If you said it was green, I would definitely not believe you unless you pointed to it and showed it to me, right? So evidence supports that. When stating an opinion in an argumentative text or speech, the author is making a claim, and claims require evidence. Make sense? And so I've got my claim section. Obviously, this is a really important concept because they've marked it here. They want me to really get this much. While an opinion could end up being a fact, it will be accepted only as one if powerful evidence supports it. When stating an opinion in an argumentative text or speech, an author is making a claim, and claims require evidence. Stella Marie. Sorry, I have a child I'm trying to parent at the same time. All right, we've got our different types of claims now. So we're going to look for types of claims. And, you know, this lesson has 3 more parts. We'll go through this part together, and then I'll let you get through these on your own. All right. So claim of fact, first kind of claim. It's the fact, a claim of fact attempts to prove that something's true and can be proven or confirmed by observation or research. Read this example of a claim of fact. If the school day is extended, students will perform better in school. All right. Claim of fact is an attempt to prove something's a fact, proven by research. More claims of fact, you know, the sky is green. She is a good teacher. These are all claims of fact that you have to prove with evidence. All right, claim of value. Claim of value attempts to prove that some things are more or less desirable than others. An example, dogs make better pets than cats. Well, I don't agree. I don't like pets at all, but everybody's different. So claim of value attempts to prove some things are more or less desirable than others. And then, you know, I came up with my own. This is space for you to come up with your own. Dogs make better pets than cats. I stole that from them. Ice cream is better than cake. YouTube is better than Netflix. Facebook is better than Instagram. I know I'm old. I know young people like Instagram better, but there you are. See, I could prove it with evidence from my opinion. And finally, we have the claim of policy, the third kind of claim, which is, you know, a claim that attempts to convince someone to take action, that they often includes words like should or need. So people should spend less time on social media. Again, opinion, right? But a claim of policy is always going to attempt to give you action. And it's going to say something like should or need, like schools should remain remote in the fall, or people should wear masks every time they go out. And how to identify a claim, it's pretty important, right? So we're going to look for, sometimes it's easy to spot a claim because the author clearly states a position. At other times, the author may imply the claim. Here are some strategies you can use to identify an author's claim. Pay attention to ideas presented at the beginning and the end of a text. Note any repeated words, ideas, or concepts, especially if they relate to the title. Look for words that indicate the author is trying to bring about a desired outcome, like should, necessary, important, or essential. And pay attention to cause and effect words like therefore, if, so. All right, and I put this here, right? Note any repeated words, ideas, or concepts. Look for words like should, necessary, important, or essential. Pay attention to cause and effect words like therefore, so, if, and then. All right, I think we've got a pretty good sense of how to identify a claim. So we're going to practice, right? Read the passage, pedestrian-friendly communities. As you read, use the notebook tool to jot down the author's claims. And I believe that's the same guided notes tool we already have, although, yeah, and I don't know, so. Take note of what the passage discusses, what the title indicates, and the type of claim being used. All right, pedestrian-friendly communities. Making the future greener isn't just something for national governments to consider. On the local level, people should promote the conservation of energy and resources by creating more, well, I see that word should, more pedestrian-friendly communities. Pedestrian-friendly communities are designed to allow people to walk to many destinations. These communities decrease the need for cars and thus decrease the use of gasoline and other fossil fuels. The result is cleaner air and less pollution. A recent study by the Pacific Institute shows that walking 1.5 miles rather than driving reduces the impact on the environment by 25%. Walkable communities have social, economic, and health benefits as well. People in these communities live a healthier lifestyle and have more interactions with their fellow community members. All right, so now this is another practice, right? If you really understood that, this should be easy. If this is easy, you're probably getting ready for that test. If this is hard, you want to stay and review and look over that again. Read the passage, then select the correct answer from the drop-down menu. All right, this is what we just read. Making the future greener is not just something for national governments to consider. On the local level, people should promote the conservation of energy and resources by creating more pedestrian-friendly communities. The author's central claim is people should create more pedestrian-friendly communities, right? We just read that. And I see that should, and I remember my notes about how should goes with that claim of policy. So my guess is this is a claim of policy, and I am correct. All right. Hopefully that was helpful to get you started. Please continue on into the evidence section, and then the argumentative structure section, and then the summary section. Keep going with your guided notes. Come to see me if you need some support. And then once you've got this guided notes, then you can X out of this piece of the curriculum and go to your mastery test piece of the curriculum, right? Which is going to show you some of these questions. They will pick different questions for you. But good luck. You've got this.